Well, Ahmed Tinubu is APC's presidential candidate, and he has told his opponents and adversaries that they have nothing to fear. And the PDP presidential candidate and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has congratulated Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his emergence as the APC flag bearer. Welcome him to the race. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on China's television. I'm Sean Kimbale in Abuja. Well, the die is cast. Let's get started, everyone, to what has become a major story in the land. Nigeria's ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, now has its presidential candidate. He gets us talking. We look at the dimension, the implication of Bola Tinubu's emergence, how he emerged, and what it means for the state of the race. Stay with me, everyone. Tonight, we dissect these issues. He's not the only one that has emerged as a presidential candidate, because tomorrow is a deadline INEC is giving all political parties to conduct their presidential primaries. There you go. With 1,271 votes, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is APC's presidential flag bearer. We discuss details of that just in a moment. But first and foremost, let's check out some of the political roundup stories. Well, just before we get to that, of course, Bola Tinubu today emerged as the flag bearer. He won the election by a landslide after beating the likes of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, and the Senate President Hackman Lawan. Tinubu told his opponents in the race that they have nothing to fear, and he is also taking a swipe at the opposition People's Democratic Party, giving them different names and sending warnings to them about how the race will pan out and what it means to be the progressives, according to Bola Tinubu. Take a listen to his acceptance speech after he was declared winner. And there you go, the presentation of the flag by the President, Muhammad Buhari, and the chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, signaling the official handover of the APC presidential race into the hands of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a former Lagos governor.
First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Tinubu, just after the declaration that he's won the party's ticket to fly the flag of the party for the 2023 presidential election, supporters are throwing his house to celebrate and jubilate. This is the atmosphere, and this was how the atmosphere was at his home here in Abuja. We got some more reactions to Bola Tinubu's emergence, but first, let's check out some of your other political roundup stories.
PDP presidential aspirant Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has met with governors of the PDP today at the PDP Legacy House in Abuja. Earlier, he met with governors Nyesom Wike, Bala Mohammed, and Samuel Otom, during which Governor Bala Mohammed appealed to all to put behind them their differences.
Political disagreements and differences are normal in a political party, but at the end of the day, after all the disagreements, after all the fights, we should sit down and make sure that our party wins at all levels.
Former Kano State Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has emerged as the NNPP presidential candidate. Mr. Kwankwaso emerged a flag bearer at a primary conducted today in Abuja. He was a sole aspirant in the race. Mr. James Adeshino has emerged the governorship candidate of the African Action Congress in Lagos State. He emerged after the party's primary election, which also produced the senatorial, House of Representatives, and State Assembly candidates. Mr. Adeshino promised to transform the economy of Lagos State if voted in as the next governor.
I'm going to ensure that I drive the economy of Lagos via entrepreneurship.
The African Democratic Congress in Rivers State is challenging the Independent National Electoral Commission to firmly implement the provisions of the new Electoral Act, especially the section on electronic transmission of results. The governorship candidate of the ADC in Rivers State, Mr. Tonte Ibraye, says the party is determined to work with the civil societies to hold INEC accountable in the 2023 general elections.
On our own, we also work with civil society organizations and all Nigerians to make sure that it is fully implemented. And all the penalties that are associated with rigging are fully implemented.
And the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Adamawa State chapter, has today affirmed Art Tahir as its governorship candidate for the 2023 general elections, endorsing the election of Tahir, who is the sole aspirant of the party. The chairman of the electoral committee of NNPP, Salman Abdusalam, says Saad Tahir emerged through affirmation by the 678 accredited delegates of the party.
For you to have a change in the leaders that lead us here, it is for you to have the PVC. Once you don't have the PVC, you will not be allowed entrance at the polling station on that day.
There you have it, your political roundup stories. Let's tell you that the presidential flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party and the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has praised Bola Tinubu for securing the APC Congress presidential ticket. Atiku took to his street handle to send out a congratulatory message to the former governor of Lagos State and praise his tenacity. Of course, Bola Tinubu came tops in getting the ticket of the APC. Take a look at what others who were in the race garnered. Tinubu came the first and emerged as a winner, followed by the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and the Vice President, came third, 1,271 votes. That's what Bola Tinubu garnered. 316. That's what Rotimi Amechi. And these are what the others got in the race. Some others stepped down for Bola Tinubu, and one candidate stepped down for Professor Yemi Osinbajo. What does the emergence of Bola Tinubu mean for the APC and, in fact, for the state of the race? As many people are now emerging, and hopefully 18 political parties registered in Nigeria might be able to field candidates for the 2023 general elections. Let's see what this means, and let's get talking, get some more reactions. I'm being joined by the majority leader in the House of Representatives, Honorable Ado Dogua. He joins us here live in our studio. I think because the memory of your position as a minority leader,
I was never.
You were never
in the minority.
Why did I call you a minority leader?
That was a very costly slip of tongue. Very
because you are my friend. Because you're my friend, you will forgive me. Good to see you, Honorable Adodogua.
It's my pleasure being with you at the moment.
I know a lot of you in Kano, APC.
Yes.
You were behind Bola Tinubu. He was your candidate. He was your aspirant in the race. How does his emergence come to you?
I think this is one straightforward question, Sheun. The emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to us today as the presidential flag bearer for a great party, did not come to us as a surprise, never a surprise, because this is someone that we have always kept telling people that he has invested too much in the political space of this country. This is someone whose name is all over the Federal Republic of Nigeria, left, right, and center. He has the network. He has the connection of the people. He has what it takes to really deliver. To me, I don't know of other people. To me, and a great number of our people from Kano, and indeed the northwestern Nigeria, never found this thing as a new development. We expected much about that. One thing, for those of us who have been students of politics in our university days, Sherwin, we believe in what we call the science and the art of politics. The science and arts of politics, that sometimes you find situations when you look at them as scientific. Sometimes you also find some situations where politics can suit to be an art. The emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the presidential flag bearer, to me, is scientific. Scientific because two major factors that you cannot take away from our political space today is the fact that, yes, you have two Buharis in the nation. Two Buharis. The Buhari of the north and the Buhari of the southern part of the country, in terms of their unprecedented popularity, in terms of their connection, in terms of having what it takes to even deliver. So for me, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the Buhari of the south. And we have our own Buhari in the north. And when you have the Buhari of the south and that of the north on the same page, that means success all over. I want to believe that his emergence to many Nigerians was not only a surprise, but is the list that we expected. We expected that from the outcome of the election. We expected that our delegates will be reasonable enough to pay back to this person whose dues he has paid even extraordinary.
Perhaps the difference between your Buhari of the South and the Buhari of the North is that the Buhari of the North had run to be president of Nigeria 4 times, and the Buhari of the South, this is the first time he has wanted, but he said it's been his lifelong ambition to be Nigeria's president. But the big question here is how things panned out. The intense politicking, horse trading, whether or not Ahmed Lawan was supposed to be the consensus candidate, and the reactions that came. You were in the National Assembly, and I know a lot of that politics emerged from the National Assembly.
Yes.
Your national chairman is a product of the National Assembly.
Yes.
What really went down? Where was that story coming from? How did that emerge? And how did the Bola Tinubu team that you belong to, how did you react to it? How did you fight it?
Oh, it was not like a fight. As far as I'm concerned, it was what it was. It was just like a rumor. And the chairman of the party could not go beyond that. It was like he speculated rumor. When he now quoted Mr. President, delivered what he called a formal information. At the end, that information was rejected, disowned by the National Working Committee. And the National Working Committee, remember, has gotten the mandate of the NEC now. It is like you have two bodies in one working. So when the National Working Committee members, through the organizing secretary, told the world that, oh no, we were not part of it, it was not deliberated, it's not our decision, then I think that one came from the devil. Where it came from, beyond that, I think I don't have to go further. But one important thing we must be proud of as members of the APC, Sheun, we are all proud of the emergence of this gentleman to run for our party. One, he is one person that, take it or not, can be the only candidate in the Federal Republic of Nigeria that will be able to deliver his zone block votes intact. You remember when Buhari came in to run, especially under the APC arrangement, he was also having that advantage of delivering his own zone. No presidential candidate, not even Atiku.
Buhari had 8 to 10 million votes.
It's not about
every time.
Yes.
How many do you think that Tinubu has? As a block vote?
It is my hope. It is my hope that this time around, Tinubu will definitely have even more than 8 to 10 million votes from the Southwest alone. And the Northwest is there for him. It is there for him. You cannot take away this credit. My brother, what we have at hand today is like we have a very vibrant, strong, and energetic horse to ride on this race, while the other party has only an ass to ride. That's just it.
Which other party are you talking about?
The PDP has an ass available to it.
What about the NNPP?
The NNPP is
Robbie Musa Concussion.
The NNPP is not even an issue of discussion. It's not even an issue. It's a mushroom political party. A party that simply came...
What about the flag bearer?
It doesn't matter. This is one flag bearer that
Concussion doesn't matter in this race?
Sheun, I have always said this. Sheun, I have always said this.
In the APC.
Let me say this once again. I have always said this. Politics is about practical reality. This is one person who was the leader of the party in Kano State at a time when he was a member of a national political party, the PDP, that had all it takes to be called a national party. It had all the tentacles of what you call political party networking. But at the end, he was not even able to deliver his state constituency, his immediate state constituency. He lost it to the APC. He lost his federal House of Representatives to the APC. He lost the senatorial election in his own zone. He also lost the presidential. He did not get a single seat from Kano State. That was in 2019. I don't think this is going to be a different thing this time around. He will lose the more, especially when he now belongs to a personal domain, a personal empire he calls a political party. A political party that has not even traversed beyond Zaria from Kano. And if you get to the east, it has not gone as far as Wudil, 42 kilometers away from Kano. It just cannot happen. These are people who are merely daydreaming, assuming that simply because they are power hungry, they think they can grab power through this. And even in Kano State, take it from me, we are going to give that party a very serious fight, and they will be nowhere to be found. I'm telling you, they will lose out as they kept on losing.
You were a member or a party to the Concussion movement?
Of course, I was a Concussion movement person when we joined the APC with him.
The Concussion blood still runs in you, isn't it?
What?
The Concussion blood, does it still runs in your blood, in your vein right now?
Oh, that cannot be possible.
It
has run and flushed out of my brain, out of my blood system. It's never there.
But it has a strong hold in Kano and in some part of the country.
When you are talking of having
because the permutation is that Concussion will balkanize the vote for the APC, for the PDP, with the NNPP in Kano State.
Showing, let me put it again and take it from me. We will have some time to prove this. Concussion will not take away anything from the APC in Kano State. Like I said, politics can be scientific. What is he taking out from us when he could not take it out in the 2019 general election? He is only into a new political party to actualize selfish interests, self-serving interests, which at the end he will lose out and continue to be a loser.
How do you mean self-serving interest? How do you mean selfish interest? Because isn't it his right as a citizen to want to aspire to the highest position in the land?
Selfish.
Just as you also can aspire.
Selfish in the sense that when somebody wants to aspire for one thing, aspiration is one thing. And be able to actualize that aspiration is another thing. I think Concussion is only out to put on the records that, oh, I have run the presidential elections of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And at the end, he will still lose. I remember in those days when he dragged to contest with President Muhammadu Buhari in Lagos in our primaries. We went back home, of course, as our leader then. He kept on saying, oh, I became number 2. I became number 2. When you come to narrate his stories, he will always tell you, oh, I was a presidential candidate, aspirant, and I became number 2. Being number 2 does not qualify you as a candidate of that political party. And he was number 2 with a very wide margin, very wide gap, just like it happened today with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The gap of success, the gap of victory is just too much, so much wide, too wide to be compared. somebody that has 1,271 votes against his immediate runner-up with less than 400 votes, then how would you now compare yourself that, oh, you became number 2? That's just his dream.
Let's leave,
and I believe his dream will not be realized.
Because, I mean, you became so passionate about Concussion, so it means something to the politics of Kano. If not, you will not be this...
no, he has been a colleague. He has been a colleague and my friend in politics.
He was your leader.
We started together.
He was your leader.
No, we are colleagues.
No, he was your leader. You agreed at some point I was your leader.
We are colleagues.
Okay.
I put it to you, he was my colleague.
Okay.
We started into politics together as members of the House of Representatives in 1992. Merely called a member, and I was also called a member. That was when he started. So tell him and tell his people, I am a colleague to Rabi Musa Concussion, not a leader. I was never at any time. We were colleagues. Of course, when you have a cause to run, you have somebody who will take the lead.
He became a governor?
He became a governor, and I remain in the House of Representatives for 29 years today. And I'm also a leader of the House of Representatives. I think that is also something to write home about.
Let's move on to some other issues pertaining to the main subject, Bola Tinubu. Now, are you surprised by the stepping down of some of the aspirants? Did it come to you as a surprise?
Obviously not. It didn't come to me as a surprise. First thing, because I was to some extent part of some of the high-level engagements, horse trading, lobbying.
So you knew Fayemi was going to step down?
Secondly, no, for Fayemi, I never expected. But I thought, given the position taken by northern governors, I thought right in me that given the patriotic position taken by the progressive governors of the APC from the northern part of the country, conceding or agreeing to keep to terms, these terms that I kept on telling you here, that the North will definitely honor it. The North, I know, the North of our own background, the North of our own historical political ideology will definitely honor this commitment. Given that position that they have taken, I expected that definitely some of his kinsmen, like Kayode Fayemi, will definitely play ball. It was not a surprise to me.
Okay, Bankole may not be a surprise.
In fact, what was even a surprise to me, Shehu, was that the BP did not step down.
You thought the VP was going to step down?
Of course.
What made you think so?
I thought so because I have seen how governors from the northern part of the country agreed to come. Everybody knew. Even before the elections, it was not only an agreement to allow the South to come up with a presidential flag bearer. The agreement went beyond that. Governors of the northern part of the country did not only agree to concede power to the South, but also galvanize their support and solidarity behind Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It was not a secret. So I thought Vice President Yemi Osibanjo would have played ball, being someone that is a kinsman, and even someone that came up from this extended family.
Why couldn't it have been the other way around, Tinubu stepping down for Osibanjo?
Oh, no, you don't expect the cat I don't expect the tail to wag the dog. It's a situation whereby at least the dog should wag the tail. I don't expect in our own situation, you have the tail wagging the dog. So I never expected that. No. And no Nigerian would have expected Tinubu stepping down for the vice president. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows the history. So nobody can take that for granted. You have a father and you have a son.
How easy?
And it is obvious that the son should always follow behind. That is what we know about politics. That is what we know about our tradition. That is also what we know about the game of democracy.
How easy will the healing process and the reconciliation be for your party? Bola Tinubu has said, you have nothing to fear. The likes of Ahmed Lawan has received enormous support from Bola Tinubu in the past. In fact, it can also lay claims to the fact that Bola Tinubu gave him a lot of support for his emergence as the Senate President. Now, Professor Yemi Osibanjo can also, those who are saying that his ascension as a Vice President is also with the support and help of Bola Tinubu. How easy do you think the healing and the reconciliation will be for Bola Tinubu and the APC members?
I want to be very honest with you, my brother, Sheun. You are, by my judgment, by my analysis, being a political analyst, you are also a politician. By my judgment, I want to believe that the healing and the reconciliation process will take no longer time. Within a blink of an eye, we will get over it. One good thing that you must have to accept that the emergence of this man as the flag bearer of the APC to run for presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the first place will entrench what one can call a new lease of life. New lease of new life to the party itself. The party will now be more vibrant. The party will be more united because the party has gotten someone that has been much expected to come and run for the presidency of this country. That is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And secondly, the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like I said, who has been a political household name, will also give a lot of hopes to Nigerians that, oh yes, when the right time comes, the right thing will happen. I want to believe the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu today as our flag bearer is like the entrenchment of the right time to get the right person to rule the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And he has said it clearly. And those of us who are from the Northwest, those of us who are Buhari's disciple as well, we believe that this is somebody that will come and build on the gains already consolidated by the present administration. And we will come back to the House of Representatives by the grace of God. And when we get there, as leaders, at least we will hold what we call the institutional memory of that institution or that organization. And we will believe and we will work assiduously to keep into the kind of approach this new government or the incoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will come up to bear, and we must make sure that such things are being consolidated on the gains already achieved by the president, especially in the area of economy. Yeah. This is somebody who has done it in Lagos State as governor two times. This is somebody who has also brought a lot of intelligent people to bear in the system, and we have seen how it has manifested. I think what is going to happen to Nigeria is like a miracle. Right. People will see miracle happening because you have a man that is miraculous that will take charge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially in the area of economy.
Is a miracle worker.
Politically, he is a miracle.
So he's a political miracle worker.
Absolutely.
So Nigerians should be expecting a miracle from him.
Absolutely.
We can hold you onto that one.
Hold me onto that one.
Security-wise, there should be a miracle.
Yes.
Economy-wise, there should be a miracle.
Yes.
If this doesn't happen, well, we should...
Infrastructure, there will be miracles.
If this doesn't happen, just like some of your members have said that we should stone, Nigerians should stone them if you don't perform. What should we do to you if this doesn't happen?
I think it will happen. You should have no doubt whatsoever about it.
All right. Let me... One thing that is going
to give a complete lease of life to Nigerians.
One thing that will be very crucial, Honorable, for the APC and Bola Tinubu, a Muslim from the southwest region of the country. And it is going to be natural for him to think of a running mate from the opposite side, from the northern region of the country. And for those who think that how will he maneuver getting the kind of running mate he will get? Is he going to be another Muslim? Are we going to see a Muslim ticket for the APC? What are your thoughts on that?
You see, my thought on that, I think straightforward. Straightforward in the sense that when you have someone who has earned and garnered a lot of confidence among various communities, among various people of different walks of lives, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has garnered this unsophisticated and unprecedented confidence, political confidence in him. I think when you now begin to contemplate or talk about ready-made, I think it's an issue that does not matter at all. I want to tell you, Nigerians believe in Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It does not matter whom he takes.
So there may be a Muslim trick.
I don't want to contemplate that because this is something that should be discussed at a very, very high level. I may be part of it, but for now, I think I should not contemplate that. But what I know is that it's not going to be quite significant. It's not going to be a significant issue.
In Nigeria today, you think a Muslim ticket will sell?
I do not want to contemplate that. It should be discussed at a very high level. I'm a member of the NEC. I'm a member of the National Caucus of the party. I'm also a member of the tripartite body of the party with Mr. President being the chairman. So when such time comes, we will discuss that. At this level, I would not like to contemplate that show, especially when, like I said, what we now have to do is to begin the pens mending. We have commenced that already. Tinubu has already opened up. Nobody should be afraid. We are not afraid. I believe even those who contested with him should have no cause to be afraid as well. So let us not begin to now rattle down.
What zone of the country do you think a running mate could come? Northwest or northeast?
There was a tentative zoning arrangement. Tentative zoning arrangement. I may be wrong, but I know of a tentative zoning arrangement which started with the emergence of the national chairman of the party from the North Central, and we gave it to Abdullah Adamu. As God may wish, will wish.
And now you have a presidential candidate.
A presidential candidate, even on the same zoning arrangement, it gave out the presidency to the South. And God, in his own mercy, has given it to the right person, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And in that same contemplated zoning agenda, it has given out the vice presidency to the Northeast. I may be wrong, because this is not an official declaration of the party, but I know of this tentative zoning arrangement which has started during the election of the national chairman.
All right.
So definitely we will expect to have a vice president, possibly from the northeastern part of the country,
all right,
from which is religious background, what religious leaning he may come from, that I cannot tell.
Let's take a breather, Honorable, and we'll get your closing thoughts when we come back, because your party has been criticized of lacking political cohesion over the last few years, and that's why you've had a lot of problems internally. We'll close on that thought, and I'd like to get your thoughts on what Tinubu brings to the table, whether or not it can galvanize and string your party together from what has become a tattered pieces of your political structure. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we continue our conversation with Honorable Adodogua. And of course, there is another brand new presidential candidate from another political party who will be talking to us on the program. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. Everyone for staying with us right now. Closing moment with the majority leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Adodogua. Thank you so much. Look, your party has been heavily criticized on the issue of cohesion in the party and the fact that there are a lot of things that could have easily been addressed, politically speaking, political solution to a lot of challenges that your party has faced. What does Bola Tinubu bring to the table? Can he manage being a president? Should he win the election and being the political leader?
You see, like I've said earlier on, the emergence of this man as our flag bearer now for the presidential election will definitely entrench a new lease of life to the party. These issues of lack of cohesion was born out of a lot of suspicion, mutual suspicion, right from the days of Comrade Adams Oshomole. All the suspicions were machinations and maneuverings to see if they could checkmate and get this person out of calculation. This has been our problem. But now that we have come and arrived at a point when we have gotten the right person, the expectations of the people, all these issues you are talking about that were born out of mutual suspicion, hatred, my brother, the answer is found. The emergence of this man alone is like a resolution to this problem. Himself is like an end in itself, not a means to an end. As far as APC is concerned, as a political party, I accept your observations that there were issues. But all those issues in those days were issues connected to the same person, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Some other people thought they could get him out of it.
All right, quickly.
As we could be, those of us that are following his own footsteps, at the end, God in his mercy has delivered Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be the final answer to the party. Those problems will not be there.
Rotimi Amechi is a major factor. Is a runner-up in this race. Mm-hmm. And we saw a little bit of disagreement and some kind of incident that happened during the voting process at the primary. It's going to take a lot of effort to bring him to the table, is it?
I think it's going to be easy to bring it to the table because we are all convinced that Rotimi Amechi was briefed to do what he did.
Really?
Yes. So whoever briefed him will now bring him back to the table. If he's serious as far as the APC is concerned, it's my conviction. I may be wrong, but my own personal conviction is that he was briefed to do his bidding. So at the end, we will expect that those who briefed him to do it, to call him back to the table because they will have no answer whatsoever. They will have no solution. They will have no alternative to what we call the APC
Bola Tinubu
as a political platform.
Need Rotimi Amechi?
Definitely. Not even Bola Tinubu. I will need Rotimi Amechi for now. And I believe, like Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said openly in the public, that he will need everyone on board to be able to galvanize and coordinate the party to success. But as far as I'm concerned, his emergence alone, the emergence of this gentleman to run for our party alone, is 75% success as far as the political space of this country is concerned.
All right.
Everyone will be loved to be on the board. Not only Rotimi Amechi, the vice president should be on board.
Right.
Fahimi and all others needed on board. And we must all come to put our hands on deck to deliver the APC. We just have no option. No one can even begin to contemplate bringing back the failed PDP back to power. They are gone. Like he said, these are termites that are the olden days history, and they can never surface back in the political space.
You need to hear what some Nigerians, and of course the opposition are saying about your party. Perhaps they are calling you similar names. But I must sincerely thank you tonight for coming.
I don't think we have any better name than being the only solution to Nigeria's problem.
Have you been able to solve Nigeria's problems?
A lot of problems. Look at the issue of security.
No, don't let us go into it because we are totally out of time.
We have done our best, and that's why we
people will challenge you on what you have promised and what you have delivered.
Yeah.
Because that's a major issue. The task of governing this country is been laid in the hands of politicians. Whether they fail or pass, Nigerians have the judgment on their hands, and that judgment will come during the election, which you also will put your name on the ballot. I believe that judgment will be very favorable to the APC. Thank you so much for coming. Honorable
to our candidate.
Majority Leader and the House.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure being with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. So we take a breather. Of course, let's show you some of those who have entered into the race. There are new entrants now that have come on board. Don't forget, tomorrow is the deadline, the 9th of June, before INEC closes the door to those who are doing primaries. So there you go. Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Omadi, Yabaji Sani, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has joined the race. Malik Ado Ibrahim has joined the race. And of course, Robbie Musa Konkoso has also joined the race. We understand that a few more people, ZLP also has their own candidate, SDP has their own candidate, and interesting is also there is a factional Labour Party presidential candidate other than Peter Obi. Some of these issues are emerging within the last few days. Let's tell you that Malik Ado Ibrahim has emerged as the YPP presidential candidate, YPP presidential primary held today in Abuja, where Mr. Malik Ado Ibrahim has emerged as the flag bearer. Mr. Malik Ado Ibrahim joins us live here in our studio. Thank you so much for coming tonight on the program.
Thank you.
How does it feel like to be your party's flag bearer?
Well, hasn't sunk in. This is something we've been working towards for a while. We want to certainly make our voices heard, and this is going to be this is just the first step in that.
Is it a young mandate that your party is putting forward?
Well, if you look at what's going on in the country today, no matter what we look like, it's definitely a young mandate. The combined age of the two party bearers and APC and PDP is close to 150 years old. We have so many other options, and we have something to say, and we want to say it, and we're going to really try to galvanize the youth into understanding what running a country like Nigeria feels like.
The question is whether or not your party has a structure, because not only have the right candidate, is also having the right political structure. We've seen a lot of nice men and women who have run for president in this country, but what has failed them more often than not is the party structure, political structure. Yes. That is highly needed in our climate.
I sometimes look at that and say that is a hyped position. The platforms are there for individuals to come and present themselves to this great country. We've had the same people for the last 30 years, whether in PDP, APC, or going back and forth. They've cross-carpeted. There is nothing fresh, no new ideas, no new solutions. Everything seems to be Groundhog Day. We keep seeing the same thing over and over again. And we're really fed up. The country needs to see fresh blood, fresh ideas, and not just a repackaged just voiceovers of things they've done before, things that they've said they're going to give us more power, they're going to give us better security, but it's the same people over and over again.
Who is Malik Ado Ibrahim?
Well, as a person, definitely one of, as I like to look at myself in the mirror and say, somebody who is completely a Nigerian, very patriotic. I'm an exposed individual that sees this great country as being underutilized, underexposed, and really a country that's had managers. We're managing resources, we're managing our oil and gas, we're managing our roads. I don't come from that school. I am somebody who believes that we have to have a producer at the lead of this country, somebody who produces things, produces power, produces energy, produces better roads, and produces a future for this country. That's the kind of person I am. And I put my heart and mind into things that I've done internationally. I'm probably better known outside this country than I am in the country. So coming back home and wanting to be a voice of that next generation is very important to me.
How much of Nigeria do you know? That's going to be a big question. You have a lot of international exposure.
Yes.
But how much of Nigeria do you know?
See, the international exposure I have is probably a hereditary problem. In 1930, my grandfather was the first Nigerian monarch to visit the UK. Since then,
And who was that?
I beg your pardon?
You say your grandfather?
My grandfather, the Atta of Igboland, was in the UK, visited with King George V, and exposed him really to what Nigeria was. And if you got to understand that the Lugard was in where I come from, in the Middle Belt, in Lokoja, then Kwara State, and then that central district. That began our journey as a family. In 1960, Abdul Malik Atta, who I'm named after, was the High Commission in the UK and was the signatory on the independence document and lowered the flag. Since then, that same family has an IG, a governor of Kwara State, the developer and I guess the originator of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency. We've had countless ministers, first minister, a female minister, Judith Atta, ambassadors, super PAMSECs, same family, same lineage. I wasn't not just coming on this political scene as a newcomer. I have generations of experience, and I have a father who's 93 years old and is a sovereign, as a traditional ruler, who just had his silver jubilee yesterday, that is very much involved in what goes on in Nigeria. And apart from the politics, we're industrialists. We brought Nestle to this country in 1973. My father was the first person to drill for oil and gas in this country in 1978. We created Wateco after export with the Soviets. We put mining industry on the map. We know what this country is about. We were taught. I'm not a fly-by-night individual. I came here with pedigree. And I want Nigerians to know that when you look at what you're going to see in the next 6 months of this political campaign, look at somebody who's trying to bring out the best of this country. I'm not repackaged. I'm an original item from a family that's a dynasty in this country, and we want to see good things happen for the generations to come.
So, blue blood, solid education background, and a lot of pedigree that you can lay claims to. But politically speaking, how much of a structure do you have? Because you can have the name, the pedigree,
sure,
you can have all of that. It may not sell in the political market.
Okay. So if you look at this political market that everyone's been talking about, look at 2019. 86 million people registered to vote. 28 million people voted. 58 million people on the sidelines. Well, all this noise of APC and PDP, 28 million people voted. At a country of 200 million people, something is fundamentally right. If you have all these structures, why didn't 100 million people vote? The structures are not what people want to see. They want to see people who will drive this country forward. We have a platform, YPP. They have other structures themselves. It is up to me to present my ideas to Nigerians, to young Nigerians, to see the kind of person I am, what I've built, what I'm willing to do, and how much energy. This is a very important part that we have to talk about. In 2023, the president of this country is going to have to roll up his sleeves and do some things that need to be exemplary. We need leadership.
You're from the energy sector?
I'm from the energy sector, from the oil and gas sector, but now I'm probably the leading renewable energy company in the Southern Hemisphere. I build power plants using the sun, using the wind, and I'm very proud. It's a proudly Nigerian product that is globally acclaimed at the moment.
So, I mean, if that is your sector, and that's Nigeria's, perhaps the biggest Nigeria's problem when it comes to setting up a business.
Power, yes.
Power.
Yes.
And for over 20, I was one of those who were born over 40 years or so, and we're still struggling,
yes,
battling with power.
Yes.
Do you have a solution to that?
I've built a solution. The same problem that you want to fix, I fixed. Now, I'll give you an example. In Adamawa, we have Yola Disco that takes about, I think, 12 megawatts into 4 states, 12 megawatts. I've just put in a plant in Mayobelwa, about 12 kilometers away from the Yola Disco, producing 25 megawatts on one farm using renewable energy, using this endless sunshine. I'm an example to what this country needs. I'm one of the companies that even put its name forward for 100 megawatts of solar. We signed the energy mix with the government, NBET signed, nothing was done. The visionaries are what Nigeria needs. Not just visionaries that will dream big, but action visionaries, those that will build things for this nation and lead by example. If we get the power right, this issue of unemployment is eradicated very quickly because industry can work. You galvanize the people. If you have power, security works. Our military works better. There's a lot of things that we have to do, and that's why I even set up my Reset Nigeria initiative. Fix the basics so that we can get back to work and get back to living.
How also can we get the power problem in Nigeria fixed?
I tell you, if we have a Marshall Plan for the delivery of a country like Nigeria back on the grid, within 5 years you would have double the amount of power without having to change the infrastructure, the transmission lines. Because with renewable energy, you can have embedded power, you can put the power where it's needed. You can use storage. This is one of the things that we are very good at. We're the third largest storage company in the world. We build lithium-ion storage. We can harness the sun and deliver it on time. This is Nigerian technology. In fact, in all my products globally, I'm in 18 countries. Proudly Nigerian is what you see on that. And people always ask me, why isn't this happening in your country? And I always say, a prophet is never welcome in his own village, and we have to change that.
Have you approached the government about some of the solutions that you're bringing to bear?
I've had ministers, I've had governors. Private sector gets what I'm doing, and private sector is buying into this.
So why is it difficult for the government to buy into it?
As I said, you need visionaries, and that is what's lacking now. We can have all the wonderful words and billionaires that are running this country, but they are not down understanding what the young man needs, the young lady needs, the importance of creating industry. These are men that have been politicians all their lives. My generation is going out there making things, making a name for itself. You've got companies like Paystack, Flutterwave, Nigus, Big Energy, doing things globally. But when you come home to explain, well, listen, the red tape is enough to suffocate you. So,
are you bothered about what could be, what has stopped many businesses, many initiatives from working? I mean, like you described, they worked in other climes, but they come into Nigeria, they fail to work. There are phenomena and issues that have stopped these interests from working in Nigeria, that made Nigeria an impossible or an infertile ground for these things to thrive. What have you discovered about this climate that makes things difficult?
Only one word: leadership, or lack of it, I should say. If you don't know what's behind that door, you'll never understand it. We're used to turbines making power. To tell you a piece of glass can create that same amount of power seems like juju as far as people are concerned. Well, we're making juju work if that's what they think. But the enabling environment needs to come from somebody who has done this. I was the Undersecretary for Renewable Energy at the United Nations for IREO. I was the first. I developed that program and I ran renewable energy for 154 countries. That's the kind of person that's coming into this race. I don't sit there thinking it's impossible. I think impossible is possible.
Is it a risk for you to come into the race? Considering what you have done and what you're doing for yourself privately?
What's the risk? Exposing myself to my country?
There are a lot of people who say, as soon as you put yourself in the public for politics generally. In fact, there was a time that I personally said to people that do not describe politics as dirty, because politics is what drives governance. Without politics, you won't have governance. So in the real sense of it, a lot of people have described politics here in this climate as dirty. And people think that it's murky. When you get into it, it stains you. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why I'm asking, is it much of a risk for you that you're willing to take up?
As I explained about my antecedents, my family has served Nigeria, and I am the latest in that generation that wants to serve. I don't believe that if people like myself keep walking away and walking back on the idea of serving one's country, we will get any further. We will still be stuck in this quagmire of same thing, different day. It just has to change. And the injection of new blood, new political ideas, new directions, new technology, a new blood It doesn't come by you bringing an old guard and putting it, and they say if you put lipstick on a pig and dress it up, it's still a pig. You cannot change that. Nigeria needs a complete, overused word, a paradigm shift. We need to move this country in a completely different direction. We're listing, we need energy, we need a young leader, and we need to push that in a very positive direction.
And you are the person.
I believe if Nigeria doesn't choose somebody like me, we have a problem. I believe I'm one of those people who can do it. And I think we need this young cadre of politicians need to show the best of what Nigeria is. I'm not under any illusion that this is going to be easy, but the trip of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
If you're coming from this generation or from these thinking of doing things differently, there is a certain way that Nigeria politics has been played. Are you playing it in the same manner? Because if you're going to play with the heavyweight, the mainstream politicians, who you are somewhat an outsider to the race. So how differently do you want to play this game? Are you willing to play it exactly the way they've been playing it?
If I play the game the same way they're playing it, I'll lose this game. They are seasoned and weathered in this game. There are a multitude of ways to skin a cat. I think those that have come to challenge this system that are young, people like Bukola Saraki, have probably gone in there with fantastic ideas and they've been frustrated. You either join them or get cast aside. I have no reason to want to join a club that is not taking this country forward. And I believe that the young Nigerians, that 58 million voters that probably looked at this thing and said, oh no, same old, are going to have to look at somebody fresh and fresh ideas and new developments. I don't think I need to go play dirty with anybody. I think they have the money.
I'm asking precisely, how do you hope to play differently? I mean, if you want to beat them, then you must have a better and a smarter way of beating them.
Well, the formula has always been the same. Let's stick up the billboards. Let's get out there. Let's throw money around. There are 200 million mobile phone devices in this country. I dare you to be able to pick any of these politicians to go on TikTok or Instagram and be relevant to those hundreds of millions of Nigerians who want to see something that touches them in the heart. I built my own OTT channel. I had to shut it down after the NSAS issue because the government didn't allow us to grow. But we grew to 1.9 million subscribers on a mobile phone device that gave you what Nigeria is begging for. There are ways around this. We know how the system is not being used. Because if you put, Jurassic politician in a modern society like we have right now, you can run circles around them, and we intend to do that.
You try to ride on the backs of the young population and the strength they have. They have over 60% of the voting population in Nigeria. You realize that?
Absolutely. And that synergy is what I'm counting on. Because if you cannot relate to them, if you cannot give them any kind of
Is Nigeria ready for the kind of game you want to play?
Look, I had the pleasure of watching two politicians do what I didn't want to do, but I'm finding myself do. I was in California and watched Obama emerge in a situation that was terrible. I had some influence in that, and I saw firsthand what can be done. I watched a man that I knew from Nigeria become the president of France. I watched what can be done. We all have a heart. Touching those heartstrings, being emotive, winning those hearts and minds of people is the key to changing the system.
Abdulmalik Ado Ibrahim, the YPP presidential candidate, I wish you the very best. It's a marathon. The race to get into 2023 takes about 8 months of campaign, and I wish you the very best. You will need a lot of breath. Save them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Sam.
Well, that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. Bye for now.